Hi everyone, welcome back to Kamali's Church YouTube channel. I hope that you're all well as you come to view the video today. Just a brief reflection for you. Thinking on something that we read in Hebrews chapter 10, where it said that we should continue to meet together, that we should encourage one another, especially as the day draws near. And we are also encouraged to not get into the habit of doing the opposite. So that would mean not meeting together and not encouraging one another. Now, we don't have time in this video to get into the challenges that technology and I suppose the new forms of community that are formed online and what this passage means for that. Maybe there are regular patterns and rhythms that we can develop in how we engage with God's Word and with one another as the church through technology and online. Maybe there's ways that we can develop good habits and good patterns and rhythms of doing things. But I do think that, generally speaking, patterns and rhythms and habits are important for us as humans. In the last 6 months or so, our girls have acquired, shall we say, 2 rabbits. Now, as is often the way with children, it's usually left to the parents to care for the things, and that's exactly what happens in our house too. So it's Dad's job to make sure that the rabbits have got food and water. And I've noticed as I've done that if you are regular and you develop a pattern whereby you go at the same time every day and provide the rabbits with regular food and water, they are quite content little things. Really, they'll play about and so on, but they'll also be quite happy to lie and just seem generally at peace. But I've noticed that if you are late or if you, miss half a day or something, so you've maybe not fed them since the morning before and it's the evening of the next day, and I've noticed that they get quite agitated. That's when they start attempting to burrow run or out of the hutch and try to escape, as if to say, well, if you're not going to provide for me, then I'll go off and do my own thing. And as I was observing that, I couldn't help but come back to those words that we read in Hebrews 10 and the wisdom of them. Because I don't know about your experience, but certainly in my experience, when you get out of that habit of meeting with other Christians, get out of the habit of reading God's Word, get out of the habit of praying all these good patterns and godly rhythms that we build into our life, when you neglect some of these, or maybe for various reasons you're not able to engage in some of these things in that habitual way, I find that it really affects me. And I don't know if you feel the same too. So I think there's real spiritual wisdom in what we're receiving here from the advice in Hebrews 10. And of course, that would be the case being God's Word. But I wonder if many of the problems that we are seeing and facing in our society is because of that turning away from those godly habits, those rhythms, those seasons, those practices of church life and religion, if you will, if you want to use that word. Perhaps that having lost some of that in our patterns of living as a society, we're now suffering the effects of that. Maybe some of the unease, the lack of peace, the disharmony, the misunderstanding between one group and another and so on is because we've neglected this very important spiritual side of our lives. It's a good thing to develop good habits. Of course, it can be a bad thing to develop bad habits, but I think there's real wisdom here for us and something to perhaps reflect upon. I'll leave that thought with you. Okay, bye.